Sinking funds. Sinking. We'll do sinking funds. In this video, we're going to discuss sinking funds, what they are, why they're useful, and what you should do with yours, and why you should set one up, or a couple up, depending on what you've got to save for. Taken from Dave Ramsey's very own website. Dave Ramsey's podcast is where I heard the term sinking fund. This article explains what is a sinking fund. A sinking fund is simply a strategic way to save money by setting aside a little bit each month. Sounds simple, it sounds just like you're saving for something, and essentially that's what it is. The idea of a sinking fund is that if you know you've got something coming up in your either near or distant future that you're going to need to spend your money on, saving for it now so that by the time that you get to that event you have the money to spend on it is the best way to pay for that event. For example, I've got a Christmas sinking fund which I've had for a couple of years, and I put a certain amount of money in each week so that when Christmas comes around I know that I've got that specific amount ready to spend. So I've kept this account open over the years, and obviously every time it comes to Christmas I deplete the account down to zero and then start back again in January. That's just the way I run my Christmas sinking fund, but obviously you could have a sinking fund for purchasing a car or a new piece of equipment. I really like cameras, so I've previously set up a sinking fund to get a new lens that I wanted. And the idea is it doesn't have to be exact, you could just have a rough estimate of the amount of money you will need for the thing that you want. If you know when you want to buy this thing, divide that amount of money by the months that you have to save for it, and then start putting that amount of money each month into your sinking fund. And by the time the event gets here, you'll have the money to pay cash. The whole point of this is so that we avoid having to use debt. One of my favorite sayings that I've heard Dave say is that if you can't afford to pay cash for it, you can't afford to own it. And that is something that I've tried to incorporate into my financial planning and my lifestyle generally ever since I heard that saying. The way I manage my sinking fund is by banking with Monzo. I've opened a Monzo pot for Christmas. So every week that I get paid, I transfer a portion of my wages into the Christmas account, and then I know that I'm building that up week by week. Monzo pots are pretty useful for things like this because you can see what's going on your main screen without having to look into separate accounts. Like if you bank with NatWest and you get paid into NatWest but your savings accounts are with Lloyds, that can be kind of tricky to keep an eye on because you've got to log in and out of different bank accounts. But I think Monzo provides a nice visual as well. You can open a little pot, you can put a picture on it so you know what it's for. I've got a nice little Christmas picture, gets me excited for Christmas every time I see it. Some things in life are very predictable, so we know that every year on the 25th of December Christmas is here, providing a meteor doesn't come and destroy the earth and end humanity. That means that if we strategize properly, put some thought into it before the time comes, we'll have a fairly decent amount of money when it gets here. I feel like I've said that about 6 times now. That's the basics of a sinking fund. It's simple. It's a simple concept. You just need to do it, basically. The other good thing about a sinking fund is that it allows you to give your savings goals a name. So if you open a sinking fund to buy a £5,000 car, everything in that account you know is for that car. So behaviorally, it does help in stopping me specifically purchasing things that I want right now because I know that that money's already spoken for. Again, discussing what Dave Ramsey says, his feeling is that money management is 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. And obviously we've all heard the saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So if you prepare properly, put a name to every pound that you get in so that you know where it's going, and then hopefully we can avoid these traps of impulse purchases, which then leave us short for the things that we really want. I hope that all makes sense. It's a short one. It's a simple concept. Sinking funds. Do it. Do it! Just do it! Just do it. Thank you for watching. I hope that you got something from this video. You can find my website at www.ollyrosaphoto.com. You can follow me on Instagram at ollyrosaphoto, Twitter at ollyrossa, and I also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/ollyrossa. I'm not asking you to subscribe to that. The one and only tier that I've got on Patreon is entitled Your Money Would Be Better Off in a Savings Account, which is true, but now that making these videos is starting to take a lot more time, effort, and money with the setup that I've got, I figure if you get something out of those and you would like to support this channel, you can do so at Patreon. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll speak to you next time.